Elijah versus the prophets of Baal, fire from heaven. Long ago in the land of Israel, under the rule of King Ahab and Queen Jezebel, the worship of Baal, a false god, spread like wildfire. The people of Israel, who were once faithful to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, were caught between two choices: worshipping Baal or serving the one true God. One man stood against the tide: Elijah, the fiery prophet of God. The challenge on Mount Carmel. One day, Elijah approached King Ahab with a challenge. "How long will you waver between two opinions?" Elijah thundered to the people of Israel. "If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him." The people stood silent, unsure, their hearts torn. Elijah proposed a bold test to reveal the true God. "Gather all of Israel, the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah, and meet me on Mount Carmel. There we will call on our gods, and the one who answers by fire, he is God." The challenge was set. The contest begins. The summit of Mount Carmel became a stage for divine drama. On one side stood Elijah, a lone prophet of the Lord. Opposite him were hundreds of Baal's prophets, chanting and dancing in their flowing robes. Two altars were built, one for Baal and one for the Lord. Two bulls were prepared as sacrifices. The rules were simple. No fire was to be set. Each side would call on their God, and the God who answered with fire would be declared the true God. "You go first," Elijah said, gesturing to the prophets of Baal. From morning till noon, the prophets of Baal cried out, "O Baal, answer us!" they shouted. They danced and leaped around their altar, but there was no voice, no answer. Elijah's taunt. At noon, Elijah couldn't resist mocking them. "Shout louder," he said. "Surely he is a god. Perhaps he is deep in thought, or busy, or traveling. Maybe he is sleeping and must be awakened." This drove the prophets of Baal into a frenzy. They shouted louder and slashed themselves with swords and spears until their blood flowed, hoping to stir Baal to action. But the hours passed, and still there was no fire. There was only silence. Elijah's turn. As the sun began to set, Elijah called the people to himself. "Come here to me," he said. He rebuilt the altar of the Lord with 12 stones, representing the 12 tribes of Israel. He dug a trench around it, arranged the wood, and placed the bull on top. Then, to make the challenge even harder, he instructed the people to drench the altar with water. Once, twice, 3 times, until water overflowed and filled the trench. Elijah stepped forward, calm and confident. He lifted his hands to heaven and prayed, "Lord, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant. Answer me, Lord, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." Fire from heaven. At that moment, fire fell from the sky like a roaring inferno. It consumed the offering, the wood, the stones, the soil, and even the water in the trench. The people fell on their faces, crying, "The Lord, he is God! The Lord, he is God!" Elijah turned to the people and commanded, "Seize the prophets of Baal. Let none of them escape." The false prophets were brought down, and Israel turned back to the Lord. The sky opens. After the contest, Elijah prayed for rain, for the land had suffered a drought. 7 times he sent his servant to look toward the sea, and on the 7th time the servant reported, "A cloud as small as a man's hand is rising from the sea." Soon the sky grew dark with clouds, the wind rose, and heavy rain poured down, a sign that God's favor had returned to Israel. The story of Elijah and the prophets of Baal is more than a tale of fire and rain. It is a powerful reminder that no false god can ever stand against the one true God. In moments of doubt, when the world offers many gods to worship, we are called to declare, "The Lord, He is God." If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to subscribe and share with your family. You never know when you'll come across something like this again.